Mike, turn your games down.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another What Are You Playing episode of Games My Mom Found for February 2022. I am Mike Albertin, and who's What Are You Playing with me tonight?
Nate is playing. I am back.
Welcome back.
After talking about Sonic Adventure 2. Enlightening minds about Sonic Adventure 2.
A game that I want to go back to my old memory of it. And I still loved it.
And I am Richard from the YouTube channel Rich Kale. Recommend you visit it. I'd greatly appreciate it.
I was going to say, did you forget your name?
Well, did Nathan say his last name there? I didn't catch
No,
it.
not everyone does. It's their choice.
No,
I
I'm
do.
just...
But also, if you Google my name, I pop up now. So
I don't want my enemies to know what I'm up to.
I want everyone to know what I do, but then again, I've been contemplating making a magnet sticking on the side of my car. It says "Games My Mom Found." Listen.
Oh, nice.
Be nice. Oh my goodness.
Someone at my work covered up a handicap
here.
sticker with their SoundCloud. And I was like, that's courageous of you.
My job handed me a magnet of like, we're hiring, put this on your car. And I'm just like, I don't know. It's still sitting in my office. I'm like, I just don't know.
Where did you hear about us? The back of Mike Albertin's car.
Now, if it said, call me for a tour, I'd put that magnet on my car, yes. But that's not for hiring. I'm like, whatever. But
yeah.
Before we start this month, What Are You Playing? I have a very important thing to say first. I haven't had Little Caesars twice in the last 2 weeks for some unknown reason. But the reason I say that, because I have a joke. So I went to one. I tried the Bat Pizza. The Bat Pizza it's a calzone. It's okay. Was it worth the $6 I paid for it? Sure, I guess. I didn't feel good afterwards, but it tasted good. And then my other experience was I need to stock one of those. I went there today, and they give you, when you order online, they give you a QR code. So I go to the station, I get my QR code, I scan it, nothing happens. Okay, I type in the code it gives me, nothing happens. I'm like, oh, hey, excuse me. The woman comes over, she's like, I don't know, and then walks away. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then she goes and gets the manager, and she helped me. She's like, yeah, because someone else had the same name as you, Mike. And I'm like, thinking to myself, you think you would, I put in my last name too, you think you'd have a solution for this where, it can handle more than one name of the same name. Apparently, nope.
Yeah.
So if you have next time I go there,
thinking with pizza portals.
Yep. Next time I go there, my name's gonna be Usagi. That's what I'm gonna put in there. And then this time there should be no other Usagis.
It's gonna be what? Usagi?
Usagi. 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 Usagi.
Oh,
it's a girl's name.
Okay.
But it's all I can think of at the moment.
And when you get there, they're going to say, there was this dude that looked like a giant rabbit that just got pizza.
Yeah, it does mean money in Japanese too. But, okay. Nate, what is something you've been playing or watching you want to mention?
Let's see. Just a small indie game called Uncharted 4. Indie as in Indiana Jones.
You're not wrong.
I've been playing Uncharted 4 because Horizon Forbidden West is not out yet. And I got the remastered versions on PlayStation 5 for $10. And that game is still really good.
I love Uncharted 4. I haven't played it in a while, but I remember it being just awesome.
It started out with me just like, I want to, I did the truck when you're hanging from the truck in Madagascar through the city. I did that scene. And then I was like, I'm just going to replay the whole game. Like, it's such a good game. I was like, I'm going to play it all, man.
It is a good game. I haven't played it in years.
It still holds up, I'd say. It's really fun.
Hearing you talk about it makes me actually somewhat interested in getting it and seeing what the series is like. Maybe I will.
First one is a little tough to go back to.
Yeah. Even when it released, it was a little tough to go back to.
2 and 3 are... 2's really good. Unfortunately, last time I played them, I played 1, 2, and 3 in a row, one after another. So by the time I got to 3, I was like, fuck this. So my mindset wasn't in the right place for it. So I don't know if it's actually a good game or not, because I was tired of Uncharted at that point. So, but don't play.
3 is good. I can say 3 is good. I didn't like it when it launched or when it released, because I had also I just got a PS3 and I played 1 and 2, and then 3 released and I was kind of burnt out. But when I went back to it on the PS4 collection, I was like, oh yeah, this is a good game.
Because there's a supernatural element in Uncharted 4, right?
No.
Okay.
No, it's they
got rid of that?
They said no. which
I love the Supernatural. That was one thing I loved about 1, 2, and 3. Well, 3 not as much.
That's something that I don't really like in those games because it's all like it's fun Indiana Jones adventures, and I know Indiana Jones has some supernatural stuff, but they always introduce the supernatural element in the third act, and it was just like, oh, okay, well now I'm fighting, souped up beefy boys.
Maybe you should play Tomb Raider 2013. Then it's earlier in the game.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it did show up earlier in the game, but you don't really get everybody buying it until later in the game.
But they always go like at least in my memories of Tomb Raider 2013 is they're like, oh, it's supernatural, but everyone was like, no, it's not. Like, it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. And then it's like, oh yeah. I
disagree, but it's not as like big as it was like in Uncharted 1 or Uncharted 2 or 3. Well, 3 is 3. I think it's just hallucinated drugs, but that's my opinion.
Yeah.
That's what I think 3 was. Okay, I haven't played 4 in so long, I can't remember. I'm watching that chase right now, and God, does it look cool.
Yeah, it's
because you reminded me of it.
Yeah, it's really cool. I there's like nothing bad I can say about it. Like it's, I just play it and I have a smile on my face, and I'm like, this is just a fun game.
Hey, that's one of the key things that a game should be. It should be fun.
Keyword. There.
Yeah, they put it on the back of the box. They said it's fun.
Yeah, well, they're trying to sell it in that case.
That wasn't the box. That wasn't the back of the box of the pizza I just ate.
No, the back of the box they had it in the fire print probably for the pizza you ate, Mike. It was like, warning, you may
don't go anywhere. Stay home.
Warning.
All right. Rich, what is something that you've been playing lately?
Oh, I've been playing a lot of stuff, as you know. I do a good bunch of games for my channel, and let's see. I was picking up a little earlier this week on Outlast. I do those like in small, like half-hour doses.
How is Outlast?
The first one, I'm finding it fun. It's
terrifying.
Definitely, yeah. It does have its terrifying moments, but of the disturbing stuff that they end up putting in the DLC and in the second one, I think Outlast is the only one I'll be able to handle. I've seen people play through it.
I never played it. I've never touched it. I kind of want to, but I don't like horror games, so I might probably stay away from it.
Well, when I first heard of it, my computer couldn't play it. And once I had a computer that could play it, I'm like, I'm going to get this. I'm going to give it a go. I even said to my brother-in-law a few years ago, this is actually a tempting reason for me to get the Switch if they're putting it on the Switch.
I can't imagine playing this on the Switch somewhere, sitting in an airport. You're like, oh my God! Like, oh, sorry guys, sorry.
Well, that's what they're doing it. But I mean, it's an interesting experience. It really does rely on, you can't fight back. You really are playing a stealth game. And I have to admit, I even said to my daughter, there's some humorous moments in it. When the naked twins are coming upon you, one from one direction, one from the other one, you have only one way to escape, and it's to jump through a window. And these guys, they're naked, but they sound so sophisticated, intelligent. Yeah, they're psychopathic. You jump out the window. He just disappeared into thin air. We have no idea where he has gone.
Yeah, and I'm like, they're not gonna chase you. They're naked. It's public indecency.
Well, they're all in an asylum anyhow.
They have morals.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Maybe one day I'll finally play it, but nah, I'm probably good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played that on PS4 because it was a PS Plus game, and I played about like 3 to 4 hours of it before I just like got bored of the formula. It was pretty creepy and scary. And then when Outlast 2 came out, I was interested in that. And when that came free on PS Plus, I loaded that up and I played like 30 minutes of it. I said, no, this is way too intense for me. Like, I'm done.
I could believe that. I've also been like working through some older stuff too. I'm working somewhat old, somewhat new. Abe's Odyssey, New and Tasty, I've been working my way through.
Oh, that's not that old.
Well, the New and Tasty is a nice remake of it. I remember seeing the intro to Abe's Odyssey on MTV's Liquid Television. And that was out in like late 90s, so...
What is Liquid Television?
I don't know.
It was a MTV show where they highlighted animated stuff.
Okay.
One of the more memorable things that came out of MTV's Liquid Television was Aeon Flux.
Oh, okay.
Ah, the Charlize Theron movie.
Yeah, there was a show first and it became a movie. I think it was a comic too.
Much better as the cartoon, I think.
I liked that movie when I saw it.
I've never seen it.
I don't think I ever need to see it. I was a teenager at the time when it came out, and I remember I saw it in theaters, and I thought she was hot, and I liked it because of that, but I'm pretty sure I don't need to see it again. So
Yeah.
we'll just take that memory and keep it.
I also started working on Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine.
That's a good game.
You know, I have met 3 people that like that game, and
that's a true indie game right there.
Yeah, I'm just starting it, and this is one that really did use the mechanics for like Tomb Raider. But right now, I am.
Is it on PC? What you're playing?
Yeah.
Okay, because that's a 64 game.
Yeah, it was also on N64. It was also on PC.
I had the 64 copy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm finding some things, and I've just only played the first level of it, so I'm still, getting into the game. I mean, I'm also working through Whispers of a Machine, which is a fun little game to play.
What's that?
In a future world where AI is outlawed, banned, you have cops with cybernetic enhancements in them, and one gets called to this city, because they've had a murder. And it's a combination of sci-fi mystery.
It's a point-and-click game, it looks like.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Very interesting. Very nice. Because your choices do affect how you play the game.
That's cool.
When did this come out?
I think 2017, I think. I'm not looking it up right now. But
I thought Mike said it was a point and click, so I was thinking it was like an old adventure game, and I was like, that's cool that they included choice and stuff.
2019.
Okay, yeah, it was a lot earlier, later than I thought there. But no, I mean, I'm also. You want me to talk old? I'm also playing Zork, Beyond Zork, because I just.
Is that a really old game?
Yeah, that's an old one. That's text adventure, literal text adventure.
I'm good.
Is that enjoyable?
Yeah, Zork series did have some randomness in it, but they do rely on more reading and letting you imagine the world. And they gave us one of those unique staples. They had a brilliant way to keep you from wandering around in the dark. They invented the Gru, creature that lurks in the darkness and eats stupid adventurers who wander around in the darkness. Or anyone stupid. It's like, it is pitch black. You are likely to be eaten by a Gru. Yeah, right. North, you have been eaten by a Gru.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I do have one game I want to mention that I did play, because everything I play is for the show. This is for the show too, but I did an interview. I played a game that just came out on Steam called Capia.
Oh yes, I heard that was that came out.
It's pretty good for a guy who doesn't like adventure games. I actually had a fun time with it. I cheated, of course, because I had to use YouTube video because I couldn't figure out puzzles because my brain don't work apparently. But it's a really cool adventure game. Like, it feels like something made from the night. I mean, the graphics feel like, it's just good style for today, but it feels like something from the 90s type adventure game, but without making you not. I mean, it gives you hints. I mean, it holds your hand enough if you can't figure things out. But it was a very interesting 3-hour experience. I really enjoyed it.
Took you 3 hours to play through the whole thing?
It took something about that, yeah.
Maybe I'll look into getting that soon.
It's worth it. I mean, you support a cool developer. So.
Is that only on Steam, or is that available elsewhere?
Steam and GOG.
Okay.
Because it's just made by 2 people.
Right.
A couple who live in Europe who made it.
Yeah, I heard her in your interview with her.
Yeah, she's pretty cool. And it's a unique little game. It was a very interesting take on post-apocalyptic that's not as violent and deadly as you normally have in post-apocalyptic. It's kind of like more happy in a way, but still terrible. I mean, it's an interesting way they do it. I know it doesn't
definitely,
but it's not as like you have like where people are part machines, where you have people that have like robotic arms and stuff. Like the main character is missing her arm, so she has a robot arm essentially. I mean, just little things like that. But it was actually I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was a cool game. There's a lot of lore in there if you want to search it, but if you don't, you can just go right through the game and enjoy it too. But yeah, it's something definitely worth playing if you like that old style.
Well, I know it. I'll be when I get it, I'll be searching for the lore. I know you don't like to search for the lore.
No, I did, but only Dark Souls. I love lore in Dark Souls, but that was a different time. Yeah,
and I'm thinking about how I'm when we This is going to be out after the Tomb Raider 2013, right?
No, this comes out in 2 days.
Oh, this comes out today. 2 days.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, we were recorded for that. Well, you already announced Tomb Raider 2013.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm the one who played through it for the first time, and I'm reciting things that you and Cody were like, really? That was in there?
I play games fast. What can I say?
Yeah, and you miss some of the good stuff when you play games fast.
No, I know. There's no disagreement on there.
Missing the T-Rex in Tomb Raider 2. The 2 T-Rexes.
Someday I'll play another Tomb Raider, but not that one. That's for sure. Hey, anything else you've been playing you want to mention?
Yeah. So I just, I've been slowly playing through every single mainline Final Fantasy game.
Oh, not what I thought you were going to say.
Oh, what did you think I was going to say?
Sonic.
Oh. No, I sped through those. And I just finished Final Fantasy 12 the other day. And
nice.
It is nice. It is a good game. I can't tell you exactly what happened in the plot because it doesn't help that like all of the Judge Magisters wear the same costume. And I never know, like, unless they specifically say Judge Gabranth. Like, I don't know which judge it is. Like, you know.
But I give you props for finishing it.
It's really good. I really, like, I super got into the combat of it, of just, like, setting up the different gambits and just doing all the hunts that you can do with that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I super got into that. And I still have it installed because I'm like, I want to go and do some of those, like, end game hunts. Like, you know, let me take my best gear and stuff. And
what version did you play?
The PS4 version.
Okay.
Yeah. Which has like, it's called trial mode, and it's like, it's basically different combat encounters, and I think it goes up to like 100 different combat encounters, and like, you know, you can like refight bosses there and like steal weapons from them that you can take into like the main game too. So I'll probably kind of dink around with that and then eventually start Final Fantasy 13. But I'm also like cautiously hesitating to start Final Fantasy 13
is not that bad, like people say.
I enjoy 13.
Okay.
I don't want to start playing on my PS3 because I have this weird feeling that this year Square is going to be like, hey, the Final Fantasy 13 trilogy is now playable on like PS4 and Xbox One.
Yeah, no, you're right. That could happen.
That could happen, yeah.
I'm 30 hours into it on my PS3 though. Like, this sucks.
Okay,
So,
I understand now. You don't. Have you played the old ones already, like 6 and 5 or 4?
oh yeah, I've played.
Okay.
I played all of those in 2020, and then 2021 I went through 7 through 10, and I bailed on 10 too. I wasn't feeling that one.
12 is the only main one besides 10-2 that I've never beaten, but I bought it release day and just I don't know. I didn't play it, and I still have yet to play it.
Gathering dust on your shelf, huh?
Yes.
I have a PS2 copy, a PS2 Steelbook copy.
Same.
That I found for like $5.
Okay, mine was not.
Yeah. But when that Zodiac Age Remaster one goes on sale, I recommend you pick that one up because
I have it.
Oh, good. It's really good. Yeah.
You remind me, I should get back. I gotta play a little bit more of Final Fantasy VII, the original.
That's a good one.
Yeah, yeah. But I also
hot take.
Of the first 7 Final Fantasy games, there are 2 I've not beaten.
Which 2?
3 and 7. 7 I got close to the end of many, many, many moons ago. Back when dial-up ruled the earth.
3, okay, I take it back. 3's another one I never played really at all either.
It was only released in America on the DS.
Which
yeah, and PSP. And then there's a version on Steam as well.
Yeah.
Oh, and the Pixel Remaster, so...
Yeah, I just have to take time to play. I got it. It was my Christmas gift. It was the second best Christmas gift I got in 2006.
What was the first one?
My daughter.
Oh, nice.
She was born like on the 21st.
You sound like my father. My father-in-law used to say the same thing because his daughter was born 2 days after his birthday or before his birthday, something like that. So he always said that too. So.
Hey, that was the best Christmas my late wife and I ever had, in my opinion, because for 1 year, we didn't run around to every Christmas gathering. Everybody came to us.
Hell yeah. So
that's a definite plus. But I've also been indulging. I got this couple, like last year, I think it came out, the Saga collection on Switch. And
What's
those were
in
like,
that?
that is, they were known as Saga over in Japan. We knew them over here in America as Final Fantasy Legend, Final Fantasy Legend 2, Final Fantasy Legend 3. And I'll be honest, the second game is my most favorite of the three. I just actually finished playing through Final Fantasy Legend 1 and started Final Fantasy Legend 2 again.
So you just got done beating the first Seiken Detsu game, and now you're playing the first Saga game.
No.
The Legend, Final Fantasy, is it Final Fantasy Adventure was actually a Saga game?
No,
or not Saga.
It was the other one you mentioned.
Seiken Detsu.
Seiken Detsu. I also should get back to starting up Secret of Mana. I sort of got away from it when I started having the Joy-Con drift issues.
That's understandable.
I beat also on the Switch. I beat Metroid Dread.
I really want to pick that up.
Best game of 2021.
I mean, especially when I heard they have an easy difficulty, I'm like, oh, sign me up now.
Yeah, I'm really glad they added that because I like super just want everyone to play Metroid Dread because I want more Metroid games. But like, I sincerely think Metroid Dread is like one of the best games Nintendo has put out in quite some time.
Yeah, and I literally played this like any Metroid Dread should be truly experienced. I am basically worked my way through it without looking anything up, using the hints and things in the game to figure out what to do. And while I didn't get everything because I hate some of those Shine Spark puzzles they design, I did beat the game, pretty much only looking very little up on it.
Okay.
And I'm actually very proud of that.
I can't do. Whenever I play any Metroidvania game, it doesn't matter what game it is, I go to FedEx, print a map, laminate a map, and then go home and play the game with a map. Every time.
That's smart.
Well,
did you know, Mike, that they put the maps in the game?
But my map has where all the secrets are that don't show in the game.
That's true. I guess that's true. I was you don't have to do that anymore, man. They got it right there.
No, I have a collection of it, though. It's kind of become a collection now, where it's like my trophy for playing the Metroidvania game to have a map of it printed and laminated.
That is pretty cool.
I have Metroid Fusion, I have Metroid Zero Mission, Metroid Prime, which doesn't look that cool. One of the Castlevanias.
It's got Prime's map?
Huh? Yeah.
Because it has like Prime's 3D style map?
No, they flatten it.
Oh, okay.
It's really hard to look at, though. I mean, I could grab it, then I'd have to get up, and I don't want to do that.
If I want to look at maps of that game, I've still got the guides floating around here.
Yeah, part of it was I used to work at FedEx, so I could just go and go print it at work and get a discount. But on my last day there, I printed a map. I think it was for Metroid 2, Samus Returns. Or Prime, I can't remember, one of those. But I Metroid Samus Returns also map. So yeah, now it's just become a thing where every time I play Metroidvania, I make a map.
Well, I think the first Metroid game I had was like Metroid 2 on the original Game Boy.
Mapping can help you. Can't see.
Well, I don't have. I actually had it in the Nintendo Power Magazine, and they only gave you like the first 3 levels and just a basic map of all the other levels, not showing you where things go or where things are. So I have that marked up where everything is, and I'm like, I was just exploring with that one because that one was mostly straightforward.
I tried to play that on the 3DS, and it is just I do not have a good time with it.
With Samus Returns?
No, like the OG Metroid 2.
Oh, yeah, that's understandable.
And then they put out Samus Returns, and I was like, thank God.
Samus Returns is a good game.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
It's
very hard.
They didn't need to. I understand why, in some ways, why they did it. It sort of gives more of an impression of how Ridley knew the baby Metroid was taken to the station.
Yeah, but Ridley's just he didn't need to be there.
No, it was shoehorned in. I mean, Metroid 2 had the rare distinction of being the only game without the only main Metroid. Well,
probably the only Metroid game, to be honest.
No, in the general timeline, Metroid 2 initially didn't have a Ridley battle.
Yeah.
And Metroid Prime 2
he's in there.
Echoes. No, he's
Echoes. Not. Okay. You're right. I've never played Echoes, though. It's on my list.
Echoes is good.
It's a good game.
Nate, anything else you've been playing?
Yes. Monster Hunter Rise on the Nintendo Switch. I got that yesterday, and I was off today, and I put in like 3 hours. I just sat down and I just played Monster Hunter Rise. And I texted my brother because he wanted someone to play it with him, so he bought it for me because he's a very nice brother. Shout outs to my brother. And I said, fuck. I was like, these games are so good. And I hate them because, I get into them and then I'm like, nothing else exists. Like, I need to play more Monster Hunter.
I have never played a Monster Hunter game before.
I would recommend... I have tried, I tried getting into 3 when I was on the Wii U, and then I tried doing 4 and Generations on the 3DS, but they are not comfortable on the 3DS. I would recommend World. That was my first Monster Hunter game, and that is a very fun game.
That was for PS4, right?
Yes, PS4, okay. Xbox One, and PC. And Rise actually just came out on PC this year.
Okay.
So... yeah, you don't need a Nintendo Switch if you don't have one. You can play it on Steam. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. It is a very good podcast game, or just I turn on I've been just listening to YouTube videos in the background while just fighting the same 2-3 star level monsters and getting cool gear.
It looks really, I have been very interested in the series for a long time. I just never bothered to dive in yet.
Yeah, I think... World did a really good job of onboarding new players, or new players, people who had never played a Monster Hunter game before. And I think Rise does it even better so far of what I've played. The first couple missions you do, you're not even really fighting monsters. You're just they're oh, go find 10 mushrooms and just bring them back.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's oh, yeah, I can do that.
I know it's very combat
mess
heavy.
Around. Yeah, you can kind of mess around with the combat with the smaller monsters, and then it's not you have to do 3 or 4 of those quests before they're oh shit, there's this big monster stopping our food supplies, go take care of it, and you're okay, this is the meat of the game. And yeah, it also just feels really good to play. You got wire bugs, so if a monster knocks you back, you can hit ZL and B. And you can shoot up into the air and just get right back into the battle. Or cool. The climbing has always been kind of limited from my understanding. And with wire bugs, you can zip up to if there's a cliff that you can't quite reach, you can just zip up there and get there faster than having to go around the whole map. So I've been having a lot of fun with it.
Okay. It got my attention. It sounds cool.
It is pretty cool so far. I'm actually hoping that him and I can do some hunts this week.
Wish you good luck on that.
Thanks. Me too, because I never beat World. I fell off about halfway through.
Oh.
So, yeah.
I have a really hard time falling off a game because I force myself to finish games.
I used to be like that, but with Dishonored 2, around Dishonored 2 when that launched, which I really enjoyed, but at the time I was just playing Overwatch every single night with a group of buddies. I was just you know what? I don't need to beat every game that I buy. If I just stop enjoying it, I just can be yep, that was good. That was it.
That's a good thing. Mine's not the healthiest. Partially for everything I play is for the show, so I want to finish everything.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you have a purpose for it.
I didn't mention this, but I can mention another game that I played. I was playing Final Fantasy VI T Edition over this past month, it's a ROM hack of Final Fantasy VI for Super Nintendo, or Final Fantasy III, but they completely change so many things. They take the same game, but they add new secret bosses, new super bosses. They add little quests where you go to a pub and the guy's oh, hey, this mine is full of monsters, go kill them. You go in there and fight monsters that you do a little quest and then you get an item or some relic. Enemies drop relic. You have new costumes for all your characters and they get different costumes that change their job classes. It's really, really cool. It's also really hard. And I actually had to play with strategy for the first time in 6. I played 6 back and forth years. I don't need to do strategy. Just attack. I know exactly what to do. And the game actually kicked my ass a couple times. I'm this is new.
Is the final boss still Kefka?
Yes, but then you unlock new areas. You also unlock achievements too.
I have to say, I first played through 6 back in 2020, and that game is just, it's phenomenal. The opera scene, I was holy lord, this is amazing. Like
the T edition might, even though it's a ROM hack, it's better than the GBA version in my opinion. What I played,
is it really?
the extra stuff they added. I mean, again, it's all ROM hack, but the fact like I haven't even gotten to the meat of the ROM hack where. Oh, also the espers you don't get all the same espers. I mean, they're mostly the same, but they teach different spells. Spells are different. Relics and items can teach you spells more than in the regular game. Like Terra and Celeste learn Fire 3 and Ice 3 or Fire Gun and Blizzago way earlier, which is actually useful. He added new boss fights in the game. Like he added where you fight Gilgamesh a couple different times throughout the game in World of Balance.
Oh,
he shows
cool.
up. You fight Kefka on the floating continent when Celeste stabs him. You actually fight Kefka there, like you probably should have. Just like when you get espers.
Is the story relatively the same? Or?
It's the same. He just added stuff around it.
That's pretty cool.
So it actually fits in. He extended a couple scenes. Like there's this, the famous scene where you're going to go to Thamsa and then you go in the boat and before you go in the boat, you see Celeste at night. It's a little bit longer how he talks to Celeste. Little things like that the guy added. And it's just like, this is a great game. Like, I mean, the game's already amazing, but this version of it is actually really good. I highly recommend it, but it is way more challenging than you're used to, so you actually have to level up and play smarter. So, but I really like it.
Definitely sounds interesting.
I need to get back to it, but I just been busy and I haven't felt like playing it.
And you're not playing that for the show, are you? You're just playing that for fun? Oh.
Well, I was playing it for fun, but also the idea of it was to be that if I finish it, it'll just be a solo thing where I just record about it, if I can finish it.
Okay.
Well, I know you also talked about an idea of comparing the 3 releases of Metroid 2.
Yes, someday. I want to play the other ones, but I haven't gotten around to that yet either.
Yeah.
Someday.
I do recommend if you know where to find it.
Oh, I have it on my computer.
Okay.
I have AM2 on my computer. So.
Okay, good. I do recommend playing that. That is...
Nintendo, don't listen. Close your ears, please.
I think it's pretty much spread around YouTube and the internet that AM2R was a very decent remake.
Nintendo
can't be upset. I bought Metroid Samus Returns for 3DS brand new, so they got. Well,
it's my opinion. It's my opinion that the only reason they shut it down was because they had started work on Samus Returns. Like I feel
they did that.
Like I know people are like, oh, Nintendo just goes after a lot of people, for fan remakes, which they do, but also like. I feel like they probably would have just left AM2R alone.
I mean, again, if you're going to make a fan remake, don't announce anything till you're done.
Right.
Just be quiet.
No, he was working on it for like 10 years.
Yeah, but you have to stay quiet. You can't voice what you're doing or post it until you're finished.
Or just like Nintendo with like the Mario community with like Mario ROM hacks, like they're like, I haven't heard of any ROM hacks being taken down. So just be like, this is a ROM hack of Metroid 2. It's like, oh, it's just a remake, but don't tell Nintendo.
It was done with the Super, it was done with the Super Metroid 3 type engine.
Right.
And that's all that I've been playing for games. I have some TV shows, but do we have any more games you still want to mention?
Well, I just started Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild again. I never got to beating it, and now I'm actually going to take time, especially after playing Tomb Raider 2013 and seeing how much fun and something like that can be.
My wife gives me so much shit about Breath of the Wild because I bought it the day it came out for Wii U, and I still have yet to get anywhere in that game. What's funny is Nintendo just announced today that as of March 2023, they're shutting down the eShop for the 3DS and the Wii U, and you can look back on your stats. Oh. And apparently I put 71 hours into Breath of the Wild on the Wii U, and then I bought it again like the day I got a Nintendo Switch. And I played that one a lot too. But
I want to buy it for Switch, but I'm waiting for that $20 mark when they do the greatest.
Never gonna happen.
It's never gonna hit it. I think I got it from 50 from Target, because I had sold my copy.
Well,
and then I rebought it again, in 2019, I think it was, because I was just like, I miss it, and I got it for 50.
Well, maybe in about 2-3 years, a used copy might be 20.
Yeah, I don't think so.
My whole thing
Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze for the Nintendo Switch is still $60 in the year of our Lord 2022.
One day
I'll play it
going down to other ways. That's all I look at.
Are you creating a ROM hack?
Sure, that's all I'll play. I do want to buy Metroid Dread though. Like that. Once I heard they made the easy mode, I was like,
Yeah.
I also
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I've also been working my way through Rise of the Tomb Raider.
I really want to play that.
I'm sure you will someday.
May.
Yeah.
As long as everything goes right, I'll be playing it in May, finally.
I did not like that one. And it's for real petty stuff.
But you like games in snow where you get to, put equipment together and make new weapons. Maybe you don't make new weapons in that game.
I mean, I would have liked it, but
you improve weapons.
the AK-47 in that game, like all of the gunshots in that game sound like I'm firing them in the Grand Canyon. They are so echoey, and it has bothered me ever since I first played it that I cannot bring myself to play that game because I'm like, yeah, when I shoot this gun, even though I'm in an enclosed building, it just echoes for like ages, and it just bothers me.
Okay, you weren't wrong. That was petty. Okay.
And no, it is petty. Like, I totally agree. Like, I enjoyed what I had played of the game, but I was like, I really just don't want to fire a gun because, like, the sound design is not good.
Does it have the bow still?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but, like, there is a lot of... I'm not very good at stealth stuff, so...
Oh,
yeah.
I still use the bow even when I'm not in stealth.
Oh, I like using the bow because it's the quietest of the weapons, and when you can see which enemies you can take out without alerting the others, like thunk, headshot.
I just really like bows, I guess.
2013 was like the year of the bow.
Yeah,
in
it
video
was.
games. Like
Crisis 2, right?
There may be another reason for
3.
that.
Okay.
Let's see.
But yeah, there were a bunch of games with bows in 2013. I do remember that.
Last of Us had a bow.
God, I haven't played Last of Us in so long. I erased it from my memory mostly.
You mentioned happy post-apocalyptic.
There is a good reason why 2013 and 2012 and 2013 were the year of the bow.
Why is
I
that?
have no idea
Hunger
where you're going with
Games.
this. Oh, Hunger Games.
Oh.
That caused a remarkable rise in the interest of archery.
I actually watched all 3 of those movies not that long ago, or all 4 of them. They're okay.
I never watched the movies, but I've listened to the audiobooks.
I've read the books.
She wrote 2 great books, and that's it. That's all.
Well, technically, there's now a 4th book, which is sort of a prequel.
3rd book was garbage. I'm good after that. I don't like Mockingjay. But
well, like I said, I listened to the audiobooks, so it's an interesting thing to listen to audiobooks.
I can't. But I have been watching a few different shows. One, I don't know, it wasn't my choice exactly, but I wanted to watch anyway. Me and my wife started watching Sailor Moon Crystal season 1.
Oh.
Man, I like Sailor Moon. Crystal's really good. It's pretty much like, because anyone who's watched Sailor Moon, the original show is like over 200 episodes because it's old anime, so there's tons of filler for no reason. But this is...
Oh, there is a reason.
Yeah, but not a good reason.
They didn't have the manga.
And they need to just... It's like each season's 13 episodes, but there's no theme song. It does not have the same theme. I mean, there's a theme song, but not the theme song when it starts. There's no Fighting Evil by Moonlight, Winning Love by Daylight. But it's really, really good. It's a very condensed version of Sailor Moon season, however, of the original show, and it's really damn good. Like I really enjoyed season 1 of what I watched. It's on Netflix, the whole series, all 3 seasons and the movie. So go watch it.
I think my daughter might have already watched it.
It's good.
I'm not a big Sailor Moon fan, so I'll pass. Thanks.
I am because it was on TV when I was young, and I remember watching a whole bunch. And then one of my first girlfriends was big into it, and she got me into it, and it's been 20 some years since then, and I'm still into it, so not that year long, but it's been a while. But anything else you guys been playing or watching, Rich, you want to mention?
Well, I've been watching, started getting into watching Unsolved Mysteries again, though. My late wife, I think it was Christmas, yeah. She got me a collection of the Robert Stack Unsolved Mystery episodes, the ghost stories, where they would talk about the various haunted things. I've been going through that at night.
It's a good time to watch those.
That's what I was thinking too.
Well, they're not necessarily scary.
Been watching them by candlelight.
You've got a Roomba in the background, moving around, hitting things.
Let me, if
some
I may,
of them aren't scary.
If I may interject, I saw one as a young child that was about they were talking about it was either a couple or just one guy visiting. Oh, he was visiting somewhere and he was staying in a hotel, and the elevator took him to hell. And that has always stuck in my mind. And anytime I enter an elevator, I get. And granted, it's not that scary now that I think about it. It's actually kind of silly to be kind of freaked out by this. But anytime I enter an elevator and I hit the down button, I get this little doubt in my mind, and I'm like, "What if this is the elevator that takes you to hell?"
I was just watching one where they talked about the ghosts in Gettysburg, and that's sort of one of the ghosts in Gettysburg, where the two ladies in the was now like a school building, took the elevator down, a college school building, and it opened up and they were like at a Civil War infirmary.
That would freak me the hell out.
I mean, there are some that are scary. There's some that are actually pretty nice. Ghost that's a matchmaker is one of the stories. Also a ghost who visits his daughter for a letter for his wife's 80th birthday.
I think there was one that stuck with me about a guy that was driving down the street to go to something, and he saw a girl and picked her up, and she was ice cold or something. He took her to a dance, and she got off, and then realized she wasn't alive.
Nope.
Sounds like Resurrection Mary.
Yeah. I used to watch a lot of unsolved mysteries, but it did creep me out, so I'm good. I understand, Nate. It scared me. It freaked me out too when I was a kid. My dad was showing it to me. I'm like, looking back, like, why are we watching this?
But I've also started watching a cartoon I used to watch when I was in middle school, Silverhawks. I had picked that up on Amazon shortly after my wife passed away. I also bought a DVD set that was bootleg. I mean, I could tell it was bootleg because it was recorded off Cartoon Network with all the Cartoon
that's a little different.
Yeah. So I could tell that was a bootleg copy.
I just found out my Cowboy Bebop, Outlaw Star, and Chibbits I all bought from this disc store in like 2006 are all bootleg. I just found that out recently. They look real. I mean, everything looks good, but we were Googling Cowboy Bebop, like the collection at one point, and we found out that, hey, if yours doesn't include the soundtrack and this and that, like, yeah, it's bootleg. We looked it up, like, oh, we got a Chinese bootleg.
Yeah. It's actually, I do it part because I just need a refresher and some jumpstart ideas for the Silverhawks fic I'm writing as well. But it's also nice because you could, when you look at where some of the people are that you used to work on that show. I mean, I don't know. Did you ever watch Friends?
Yes.
Okay. One girlfriend I think Chandler had.
That doesn't narrow it down that well.
It's like the Janice.
That's the name. Well, both Steelheart and Melodia on Silverhawks was voiced by her.
They both sound terrible, just like she does in that show?
No.
Okay.
And that's why Chandler liked her.
Well, Chandler was an idiot. So.
I mean, it just shows the range. Like, Steelheart has a soft, commanding voice. Melodia is very screechy-like voice.
She's good at that.
And Mike, can you insert Janice's laugh?
I could, yes. If I
can't do it.
I was actually surprised one year because when Emma was little, part of our usual nighttime ritual with her would be to take her up. One of us would take her up to our bedroom, put a DVD in our DVD player, and Emma would watch it, and I'd watch it we'd watch it with her, and she'd fall asleep eventually. And one of them was actually Barbie of Swan Lake, and when I heard, I think it's Odette, I think that was the character's name, I heard her voice, and I'm like, oh my god, that's Melodia.
Oh, and for some reason, a bunch of it is on YouTube. Not full episode, but you can watch 3-minute clips of different episodes on YouTube.
Yeah, I have it on Amazon Prime.
That's a lot better than YouTube, but it just surprised me something what's on YouTube when I look.
It doesn't surprise me. I think like last night, today, I started like picking through and looking into this Villainous series, which kind of looks kind of funny.
The Disney show?
No. Oh. This is on Cartoon Network.
I was gonna say my niece is obsessed with the Disney one.
Oh, The Descendants?
Yes, that's what it's called.
I want to watch that.
Descendants is different. Yeah, Oh, please. Emma got into that big time. She was
I've always been
a
curious.
major league descender.
Oh, and Nate, anything you've been watching you want to mention?
Yeah, we've been watching a few shows. My wife and I have been watching Next Level Chef. It's a cooking competition with Sir Gordon Ramsay and Richard Blaze. And oh my God, I just blanked on her name. I think it's Naisha Currington. Apologies, I'll look it up here shortly. But it's pretty interesting. It's like 3 different levels, and the chefs have to the basement has like the worst cooking tools, so like dull blades and stuff. And, like the middle kitchen is like kind of your normal standard kitchen, and then the top kitchen is like really good cooking equipment. And like one thing that I've always noticed is like as the episodes go on, Richard Blaze's eyes, he just looks like the tiredest he's ever been in his entire life. And I'm just like, take a nap, man. Like, it's all right, dude. You can sleep.
It's like we filmed 3 of these episodes in a day.
Yeah. But it's good. It's fun. Just nothing television, I guess. And then we've also been watching How I Met Your Father, which is like the spiritual successor to How I Met Your Mother, which is okay.
It looked odd.
The first episode is very rough, but the following episodes, like, I've enjoyed them, but they're not as like memorable or quotable as like, How I Met Your Mother, which is to be expected. But like, there's been some good jokes in there that I've laughed at.
How I Met Your Mother was really good.
It was, and I will fight anyone on that last season because I thought the season finale was well done.
I've watched some episodes of How I Met Your Mother. My wife was more into it than I was. Although I have to admit, I do find the idea of the slap bet funny.
Slap bet's good.
I mean, the end. My biggest issue with the end, without spoiling it too much, is just the fact that it's sad.
Yeah,
I didn't like that. And that's my biggest issue with the show.
And they also had that end ready for whatever season they were going to have to put it in.
Yeah.
Oh, they said they filmed the final few scenes with the kids back in like season 1. Like,
well, they had to.
They had like everything. I mean, they at least had the ending planned out as to like, how it was going to end, which is just to be able to do that. And I mean, it went on for a while, but like to be able to still kind of finish the series in the way that you intended to without, having to really compromise. Because I feel like it would have just been super easy to just be like, oh, and they lived happily ever after. But I like that series ending because it's like life is not that clean cut or easy, like, and I think that that's something that like, media should be a little more courageous to try and do versus like, trying to be like, oh, everything is peachy keen, where it's like, yeah, sometimes there is no right answer. You just have to live life and go on. I'm like, that's a good lesson.
You're completely right. And maybe they should have filmed maybe a few different options. I mean,
Clue?
let's face it.
Different endings.
Yeah, and that way, I mean, 9 seasons just to have him finally end up with Robin.
Spoiler. It's fine.
Well, yeah, but that's where the whole like, life there's not a good answer. Like it's not as clear cut as like, oh, this was my soulmate, where Tracy we were going on a tangent, but where Tracy, was Ted's soulmate, but unfortunately, life happened and it's not like that's something that he planned on.
Who the hell is Tracy again?
That's the mom.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which there is when the show finished, I started rewatching it immediately because I was like, I want to go through it again now that I know like the mother and like kind of see what clues they had put out. And in one of the season 1 episodes, Ted is talking about how I think it's the Thanksgiving episode. He's talking about how him and Barney Barney took him to a strip club, and he's talking to a stripper. And, he asks her what her name is, and she says Tracy, and he goes, and that's how I met your mother. And the kids are like, what? And he goes, I'm just kidding. But I was like, that's really funny. Like, they had the mom's name in there since season 1.
Okay.
And they had the kids. They had to in advance, and because David, who played his son Luke, he had his own career on Disney going too. Somewhat of a career.
I'm looking
He's
at
in Wizards of Waverly Place, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I thought so. Thought he looked familiar.
Man, you're making me want to watch this show again, even though I don't think that needs to ever happen again.
It's still good. I haven't watched it in a while, but like my wife was going through it last year, and I watched a few episodes with her, and I was like, yeah, this show's still pretty funny.
Okay.
And then Murderville on Netflix, which is, I don't know if you guys have watched it, but it's Will Arnett, and he has different guest stars as like a homicide, like his homicide detective partner, and they have to like solve the murder. And like one thing I didn't expect to see from it was that they don't give them a script. So like, you know, he's like, we've only watched 2 episodes between Conan O'Brien and Marshawn Lynch. They don't give them a script, but at the end of it, they actually have to like, you know, pick who was the killer, and you know, they get told if they were right or wrong. So they have to like pay attention to the clues and stuff. Like while Will Arnett and everyone is kind of just like improvising around them and making them laugh, like they have to like figure out who was actually a killer. So that's been pretty fun to watch.
I might have to take a look at that one.
Where is it streaming at?
Netflix.
Oh, that one's on Netflix.
Oh yeah, Netflix. You said that. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, for some reason I've been on a weird kick because last time we did one of these, what are you playing? Somebody had mentioned that they watched the Harry Potter anniversary, which is like the 20-year anniversary. About it talks about all the movies and interviews the actors, looking back after all these years. And that got me that got us into a weird kick where me and my wife have been watching. We watched Harry Potter 1 through 5 this last couple weeks. I really don't like 5. I don't at all.
You know what the secret best Harry Potter movie is, and that's number 2. The Chamber of Secrets. Yeah, Chamber of Secrets is really cool.
That's probably my favorite so far. I don't like 3. 3's good, but I don't like it as much. 4, I don't care for. 5, is so depressing to me. Not because Voldemort's around, because Umbridge is a bitch. That was my worst part.
Yeah.
I don't like how evil she is, and I just don't like that movie.
Yeah.
But I've only seen like the first 2 movies and then bits and pieces of all the others. And I swear, when I would take an MP3 player to my one job and listen through the audiobooks and all that, I swear, 5 is the only one that really makes my blood boil sometimes.
Yeah, whoever they got to play Umbridge, like they nailed.
This plays the best villain ever.
Yeah, I think that was Emma Dean Staunton. I think
good at it.
Yeah.
She hated the part too.
Well, the book was already written, so the script was. She knew who she'd get herself into.
Right.
It's Imelda Staunton.
But it's
one.
tough.
Sorry, if I may. I've also been watching What We Do in the Shadows, the TV series. Have you guys watched that?
I have not.
Oh man, it's like a mockumentary, and it follows like these 4 vampires that live in Staten Island, and it's hilarious. Like,
I heard good things about it.
Yeah, there's one episode where it's like the season 2 premiere, and they're talking about what they did over the summer. And one of the vampires is like, I had a summer of self-discovery. I was turning into a vapor, and I got sucked into the air purifier. It's a really good gag. I highly recommend that. It's on Hulu. A lot of cussing and more blood than I thought was going to be, for whatever reason, in a vampire show.
Hulu's tough for me because all the ads make me just not want to use it.
When I choose to watch it, I do watch it.
It irritates me.
I think I saw one of the more interesting things, though, within the past month or so. I just satisfied my curiosity. I watched an episode of Frogger.
Oh, no.
Is this like a competition show or something?
Yeah. They based it off the old arcade game of Frogger. It's a bit funny to watch.
Who hosts that?
I think Damon Wayans Jr. hosts it.
Yeah.
One of the hosts.
This looks dumb as hell.
Yeah, the trailer looked dumb as hell.
Yeah, but you still have to laugh at it.
I can't judge too hard because when Masked Singer came out, we watched it ironically, and then we both like super got into it. So
no, there's an audience for these things. I'm not big into this type of stuff, but I get it. So I can't.
I mean, I haven't watched much else of it, but I just found it a humorous way to adapt a video game into a competition game.
Any way to make money, I guess.
Is it like, what do I want to say? Is it like a competition show where like each episode has different contestants, or is it like the same contestants and then the challenges get harder?
You have different contestants each show, and they each play a different course until the quote final course, which is the boss rush or whatever they called it. I forget. And apparently the best of the best are to play in a final game of the season.
Okay.
I mean, it's a laugh. They get 3 chances to do the whole course from start to finish.
Okay.
Which I have to laugh at some of them when I saw it. And I'm like, how are they? And I think, how are they supposed to get past that?
They're not. That's the secret.
No, actually, some of them did get through some of those courses.
Okay. I can't watch any of those game shows. None of that stuff interests me at all. So I stay away from all of it.
Yeah, I mean, I get sometimes watch some of the old game shows anymore, like on YouTube. Share them a bit with my daughter, and she's like, "That's actually kind of interesting."
Oh, and did you guys all watch, or anybody watch the Eternals movie that came out on Disney Plus?
No, I really haven't.
It's decent. It's a decent movie. It is not really an MCU movie, even though it takes place in the MCU, and it tries to be an MCU movie. It's not an MCU movie, in my opinion, but it's pretty good. I didn't see it in theaters. It's the only MCU movie in years that I didn't see it in theaters, mainly because my wife refused to go with me to go see it. So I didn't want to go by myself, so I'm like, well, I'll just wait. And then I heard it was coming on Disney Plus. So I'm like, well, I'll just wait. But yeah, it's decent. I would recommend, if you haven't seen it, don't listen to all the bad reviews. Just go in with an open mind, and it's actually a pretty good film. It's just not.
That's what you really have to do with any film anymore.
Well, yes, but even more so with this one, because like it's not a action-y type movie. It's more of a drama. Yes, there's action-y because it's Marvel, but it doesn't completely fit into the Marvel timeline as well. I mean, yes, they make it fit and they do stuff, but it's a very different experience. It's not what you expect. It's more drama and less like big action-y scenes.
Yeah, I can see that.
But it's a good movie. So I just wanted to bring that up. Rich, any other things you want to mention that you watched?
Most of the stuff I end up watching anymore has been on YouTube. And again, it all just depends on the mood I'm in. I mean, I listen to podcasts too, and I read books.
I don't read any, unfortunately. But speaking of books, did you guys watch the Book of Boba Fett?
No, but I read spoilers.
I mean,
I don't have time.
I want to know about a Star Wars thing, I'll read it.
Yeah, I just don't have time to keep up. Like, it's tough for me to even keep up with like MCU movies. So like the shows and like the Star Wars extended universe shows, I'm just like, I'll just read the spoilers and
Book
get
of Boba
the gist.
Fett. We're gonna take this guy who's a great mercenary, or we think was, and we're gonna turn him into a dad, pretty much, and make him nice and cool. Odd.
I did see something like that. The Book of Boba Fett made done as a '90s sitcom.
It's worth watching.
Fett House.
It's definitely worth watching. It's not my favorite. Like Mandalorian is definitely better, and the best episodes of Book of Boba Fett include the Mandalorian. So, but it's not bad. Like I'm glad it exists because it brings Boba Fett back into the Star Wars canon again. So that's great. But
I was thinking about that this morning as I washed some dishes. I was thinking that just like kind of. And I know that other people have had this take and they're like way before me, but I'm just kind of over them like selling me the cool shit from my childhood. Like, I'm kind of just like, and it kind of stems from Rise of Skywalker, because that is just like a movie that I saw in theaters and I was like, yeah, it was fine. And then the more I thought about it, I was like, Why can't they just leave the Skywalkers alone? Like,
that's a movie you watch once and never think about it again.
Yeah, like, and like I said, I know a lot of other people have had this take, but like The Mandalorian season 1 I thought was cool because it was like, yeah, this is stuff I haven't seen Star Wars do, is just a bounty hunter show, you know? And then they're like, oh, but what if we got Boba Fett back, but also he's the worst person in his own show? And it's like, come on.
It's not wrong. I mean, I still like it. And there's a really funny joke where he rides a Rancor and he's like, I've ridden monsters 10 times this size. And all I could think of was the holiday special. And I started laughing because he rides a giant monster in that terrible holiday special cartoon. But so to me, I was like, okay, no, it's decent. I'm actually going to have a whole review show coming up, hopefully next month. That we're going to deep dive into Book of Boba Fett. But I mean, I'm very glad it exists. And there's 2 of the shows I want to mention that I've watched real quick. One is I finished my rewatch of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. My God, that show is amazing.
I should
so damn good. I watched it like 10 years ago, and I didn't appreciate the way I appreciated it now. And I mean, there's an episode all about PTSD, about a guy who loses his leg, but in the future they just make him a new leg, and he's fine, but he's just not okay. Like he can't recover from what happened. Yeah. There's so many good episodes, like, where they're ready to surrender because if they surrender, they'll save more lives. And if they fight, like, it's such a good show. It is amazing. I think DS9 might be my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Of the series, but I'm rewatching, and I'm also rewatching Next Generation, the first season. The first 10 episodes are complete garbage of Next Generation. Garbage. And then it gets good. At episode 11, Data Lower and on, it starts to pick up, but it was bad at first.
I watched DS9 when it had come out, pretty much. And I don't know if you know about it. There's a Facebook group devoted to O'Brien.
O'Brien's great.
The same picture of O'Brien every day.
That's funny.
And it has captions on the pictures. It was sort of like the same sort of. Let me see if I can bring up one of them.
Okay, while you're looking, Nate, any other shows or movies you want to mention?
No, not really. Just...
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you find the thing you were talking about?
Yep, I found it. The same photo of Chief O'Brien every day. Computer, where's the nearest Vulcan on DS9? I need them to mind meld with me so I can remember why I came into this room.
Okay.
Or, for Valentine's Day. This was for Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone except Commander Riker. He knows what he did.
Oh, that's dumb but funny.
Should I be concerned that Quark is making me sign a liability waiver in order to use his latest holosuite program?
Yes. Any other things you want to mention that you watched, or movies or TV shows?
No, not TV show wise. I mean, and you don't read, so I guess I shouldn't mention the book I've been reading.
Okay.
Actually, if you do read, though, I do recommend, if you want a good laugh, get something like Discworld. That's a good laugh for anybody.
I don't read, unfortunately. I need to. I just, too busy.
Now, even if you listen to the audiobooks, it's funny, too.
I can't do that. Not the same. I can't do audiobooks, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I can't pay attention enough.
Well,
You're not alone.
I do audiobooks from time to time because sometimes it's the only way I get to experience some books.
I once listened to a Star Wars audiobook after like Force Awakens came out, and I don't remember what it was called, but it was like the first book that kind of centered around Princess Leia, and the person reading it tried to do a Han Solo impression, and I stopped it right there, and I said, nope.
I've only done 2 audiobooks, A Wheel of Time, Eye of the World, which I've already read multiple times at that point, and Star Wars, Heir to the Empire.
I think of audiobooks that I have a whole bunch of them. One that really got me into reading the books itself was for the Dresden Files.
Oh.
And I had to point out to my wife, the person reading this is the guy who played Spike.
Oh, and Cowboy Bebop?
Oh.
Yeah, and he does a very good job giving everybody a different voice. I think only one book they didn't have him read, but he really does help sell the scenes. And even when you read them after the fact, it still gives you a good vision. I mean, I still remember the one chapter in the 6th book. As they explained, he's having a fight with what is the tradition, what we would view as the traditional vampire. You know, not sparkly, half decayed corpse, something like that. They're having a battle with another set of vampires that are more like incubi and succubi. And in the middle of this fight, a major curse is about to strike somebody down. So Dresden manages to intercept the curse and channel it to one of the vampires, which causes somehow a turkey to come out of a plane somewhere high up in the air, come barreling down, and literally stake the vampire, causing the vampire to fall to the ground, and the meat thermometer goes, ding!
I'm good.
And then it's like the battle stopped for a moment. Like they're like, "Oh, did that actually happen? Did that actually happen?"
I have one question for you, Nate, because I know where Richard was when we went on Sunday night. We were recording a podcast. Did you watch the big game of the year?
No.
Okay.
If you mean big game of the year by the back of my eyelids, then yes.
I watched 1/4 of it, and then I went to go record. But I had to ask that question. All right, and the last thing I want to have is, because every time we do one of these What Are You Playing episodes, I like to wrap up with something that we all seen. And so there's one thing that everybody's been talking about this week that I have to mention because I'm a Marvel fan. The trailer for Doctor Strange 2 dropped.
Yes.
And I am so excited for this movie as a big Marvel fan of comics and everything. Like, all the stuff that looks to be hidden in this trailer has me so excited.
So
I watched it because of some of the things I started seeing go around Facebook about it. So I had to actually watch it, and yeah, I could actually say that I'd want to go see it depending on what more I find out about it.
It looks hella good.
My biggest question on it is that we know it was originally supposed to come out before No Way Home, but then COVID had to reshuffle it. So I wonder if it's still going to chronologically take place before No Way Home, or if because I know they had to rewrite some stuff in No Way Home so that it would make sense.
Oh, okay. I'm assuming after when you watched the trailer, because I know you just watched it just now, you didn't have the sound on, correct?
No, I did have the sound on.
Okay. One of the voices in that trailer, did you recognize it? That was not Benedict Cumberbatch.
I did not recognize it, but when that trailer released, my group chat was just like, "Whoa, dude, what?"
It's
and I was
Patrick
like, "What?"
Stewart.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
but
why
I did not recognize it.
I watched it because I heard that. It is basically going to say that all the X-Men films are part of the multiverse.
Mm-hmm. And as a guy who covered all the MCU movies from the Infinity Saga, I'm like, oh, fuck, here we go. Now I gotta do Spider-Man and X-Men, maybe. So, I was going to anyway, but it made me go, okay.
Do you know which one you're watching yet?
No, I have a poll going, actually, at the time you're hearing this, to decide if we're going to watch Venom or Amazing Spider-Man, and right now they're so tied. Or Spider-Man 1 or Black Widow, just because.
I haven't seen Black Widow.
But wouldn't you eventually watch Black Widow for your extended MCU universe, Mike?
We kind of finished it. We did the whole Infinity Saga, and that was kind of the end of it. But I still do, I did WandaVision not that long ago, so we'll see. But it's hard.
Yeah,
After you cover 23.
That part of the trailer, she proves a good point. I'm not going to say she's wrong about it. I still don't. After House of M, after I heard about the events of House of M, I'm like, you bitch.
What there's a tentacle eyeball monster.
Sumagorath.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody knows. Everybody knows Sumagorath. I was just testing.
He's in the Marvel vs. Capcom game.
I never played those.
Okay, for those that have...
I played Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I don't remember seeing him in there.
I remember playing the first one in the arcades.
He's in a bunch of them. For some reason, he was in the Marvel vs. Capcom games where he would have been like he's a very small villain that he was just there for some reason, and they must have thought, someone probably thought, he looks cool, let's put him in the game. But yeah, then they put him in the trailer. My assumption is he's only in this one part of that movie, and that's it. I'm assuming he's not going to be around long.
Okay, let's see.
But they're going to fight him in that scene, and then he's dead.
You think?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think it's a trick.
Spoilers for Suicide Squad, but they had Starro.
Yes, but the fact that in the second trailer they show that people think is the Illuminati, that could be more of the villain in this movie, and I also think evil Doctor Strange will be more the villain. I think Shumagorath is there just to throw people off in the trailer.
I thought Doctor Strange's evil twin that everybody knows is named Mr. Weird. I thought he was the villain.
Have you seen Marvel What If show?
No.
It's bad, but there's a good Doctor Strange episode in there that I'm assuming is going to be what's going to play off of.
Okay.
But no, the show's tough to watch. I don't recommend it.
I lied. I watched the first episode with the Captain America.
It's okay. That one's okay.
And I was like, it just felt like it just moved too fast. And I was like,
well, only got 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The second one is good.
And Marvel What If stories usually were limited to one issue.
Yeah, I can't recommend them, the whole What If show. I mean, I watched all of it. I didn't really like it. But I think Multiverse of Madness is going to play with stuff from that. It could.
I mean, I haven't watched it either. I have the ability to watch it.
Yeah, that should, but
I only ever had like 2 What If comics, and it was usually around characters I actually liked.
There's some that are worth a lot of money right now.
Yeah, I don't have those comics anymore.
I kick myself for not buying some of those. So
yeah, I had to get rid of a lot of them when we needed money.
I have boxes of comics, but I don't buy anymore. I lost interest. But no, the trailer just has me really excited. Like, especially after No Way Home, which was amazing. Mm-hmm. I am very excited to see where Doctor Strange is going to go. So I'm really happy.
With it accessing the whole multiverse.
Oh, there's so many places they can go.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the fact that they're making the Spider-Man movies are now are part of the MCU in a sense. Like, I love the fact that that's happening. And I'm hoping that's going to be the same with X-Men also. Just because. Why not? Why not merge them all together in one shape or form?
I'm trying to just now look up like the Amalgam Comics universe. Since that was basically merging both. You had me thinking about this. I'm trying to remember what universe that is in the Marvel multiverse.
I got nothing. But yeah, a lot of people are excited for Shumagora. That's what I wanted to say too. And I kick myself for never buying his comic because it was worth nothing, and now it's worth a lot of money.
Particularly me, world's #1 biggest Sumagorath fan.
Hey, if you played Marvel vs. Capcom, you might like him. That's what people like him for.
Mike, the only thing I remember from Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is "Gonna take you for a ride."
Well,
like repeat ad infinitum, repeating.
Shumagorath was in Marvel Superheroes as a playable. Debuted in Marvel Superheroes and is a playable character in Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter, Marvel versus Capcom.
Yeah, he's around for a long time. All right, I think that's about everything that we need to talk about from this past month. Because, I mean, there was a Super Bowl, but who cares about that crap? Oh, and spoiler alert, the Bengals did not win. 3 days later. How's rooting for the Bengals?
I like it. Spoiler alert for the Super Bowl, but spoiler alert for also Spider-Man.
Yeah, I know. Spider-Man's the one that might have had the spoiler as not as a joke, but oh well. At this point, if you don't know that, Tobey Maguire's in Spider-Man No Way Home, you apparently don't have the internet. So, I mean, it's been all over the internet for months at this point, even though the movie just came out in December. It's been everywhere, so I don't feel like I'm spoiling anything. So, all right, we should wrap this up. First, I want to thank you two for joining me. And Richard, where can people find you at?
Well, people can find me on YouTube. I go by the handle Rich Kale on YouTube. I have a bunch of videos and playthroughs and reading through fics that I've written over the years. And you can find my stuff up on Comic Vine. You can find it on Archive of Your Own. I usually go by Rich Skits Kale on those too. And, well, I have stuff up on fanfiction.net. Which is all under my actual name. So you can find all my stuff up there. I've been doing stuff like that for decades.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, all right. And if you enjoyed this episode, you can find all our other episodes. Every month we do What Are You Playing? We've been doing this for almost a year, actually. It's getting close to a year. I think March or April's a year I've been doing this. So it's getting close.
You are getting close to it. I mean...
Yeah. That's why when I name the files, I got to put the year at the end. I'm like, oh, this kept going. Put years. So,
this is actually your 10th one.
We're getting close. And then go check out we do movies, comics, and games. We do all sorts of episodes where we cover different things. So definitely go check that out. If you can't find something in there, go to the Podbean. You will find all our episodes. You can download it there because not everything is on Spotify or iTunes because it only goes back so far. And want to give a shout out.
I recommend
Go ahead.
The Dead Space 2 episode.
Oh,
I feel like that did not get enough listens or mentions.
it did not. It did not
Good
get
one.
no.
I recently listened to it again because I am part narcissist, and
It's a good episode and a good game.
I had it downloaded, and then I just never, listened to it. And then I listened to it, and it is a good episode. It is a good game.
I recommend any of the episodes.
Ah, there we go.
I also recommend
And we will be
episodes
doing
45 and 90.
Rich is a true fan because he's like, everything is good. And I'm like, listen to this episode I was
what I'm
on
on.
because it's
I'll
really
talk about
good.
And I also want to give a shout out to my awesome intro and outro, courtesy of Helena at Hell Hath Fury. You can find her on TikTok. As I mentioned earlier, we do have a Patreon. You can vote in our monthly polls for as little as $1. Go check that out. And I want to give a shout out to my buddy Bill Tucker, who did the MCU with me, who started his own podcast, The Gamer Looks at 40. Definitely go check out his show. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and on YouTube. Only audio, but we are on YouTube, so check us out there. And that's everything I need to say. So we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.